Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending in Niger State, where at least 21 people have lost their lives after a deadly flood disaster ravaged two communities in the early hours of Thursday. Well, according to the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, the surge in flood water submerged and washed away over 50 residential houses, along with their occupants, including women and children. The flood was said to have been caused by a heavy downpour of rain. Let's take a look. Oh, this is so sad, really. I mean, I believe that they said that the death toll is expected to rise. Some residents say as many as 50 people may have died. And the flood also cut off the road linking the northern and southern parts of Nigeria through Mokwa. I believe we have the headline on Daily Trust saying, reporting the same. We had reached out to our reporter in Niger. It says family loses 12 members. Over 50 Almajiri missing. That's what Daily Trust is reporting. We're still waiting for, our correspondent on his report about the incident in Niger State. I mean, those people, may their souls rest in peace. It's really, really a sad incident. I don't know. I think you wanted to say something about this. Something. Yeah.
May the lives of the departed rest in peace. But you see, like I say here, culture will eat strategy for breakfast. And today, I like to apportion blames. In 2024, we had a flood incident in Niger that was so grave that about 1.4 million people were displaced. We know when it's rainy season, Niger is a big flashpoint with flood. The question is, what have we done to be able to mitigate it? So since we had that big flood incident in 2024, what have we done till date? Houses were submerged in Mokwa. The road has been cut off. One of the questions I even wanted to ask the minister is, what about the east-west road? Have we even been able to fix that road effectively? Because if you remember the floods of a couple of years ago that really affected the east-west road. So what have we been able to do? Were there warnings? What was the meteorological agencies doing? Do we have adequate preparation and humanitarian conditions to be able to help these people? Because we know it will happen every year. Either if we, remove water from Lagdo Dam and the thing flows down and all that, it will always happen. So what is the further preparation? I think number one should be sensitization. Number two should be evaluating the topography and see what we can do to be able to mitigate the effects through clearing of drainages and things like that. Number three should also be the use of AI to be able to effectively geographically map, 1, 2, predict potential weather patterns, and 3, to be able to organize relief mechanisms in place to be able to help these people.
This is it.
So, as we speak today, what are the register of those missing?
Yeah.
What are we doing as regards humanitarian agencies? And fourthly, please, I would like all 1 million Nigerians, if we can donate to these victims.
Yes.
Absolutely. To be able to help them at a time like this. Right. It will happen again, but what are we doing to mitigate it?
So you've done very well.
The real embarrassment here is that this happens repeatedly.
Yes.
This has been the case for more than a decade. Every year when it is rainy season, there's something they call floodplains. Those floodplains on the banks of River Niger and River Benue are always affected. Now, about a decade ago, over 32 states of the Federation, as far as Delta and Edo State, were flooded, just because Nigeria is not prepared. So it's either during the rainy season, or it is during the time that Cameroon releases water from the Lagdo Dam. We have not been able to find an answer to the problem with the Lagdo Dam. So why is this so perennial? And the Nigerian government has not been able to address it. The challenge is for President Tinubu, on whose table the buck stops. Can he make a difference to make sure that this perennial flooding does not continue. The case of Niger State is particularly sad because we have a governor in Niger State, Farmer Bago, Governor Bago, who is investing a lot in agriculture. Now, when we have this problem of flooding, you measure it in terms of food insecurity. Many of the farms looking towards second harvest season, they are destroyed. And then all the achievements will be wiped out. This is why this flooding problem, whether it's in Niger State or Lagos State or Delta State or the floodplains of River Benue, should be considered a national emergency by a president who says he's committed to climate change and the environment. These are the issues, in my view.
Can I just quickly say, just in one sentence, NEMA has launched a national preparedness and, preparedness and response campaign. They're going from state to state attempting to do so.
They do that every year.
They do it every year, but I'm just trying to say that they need to maybe re-strategize and see, because they actually had a stakeholders engagement just yesterday before this flood happened in Niger State. So
NIMET, by the same token, NIMET every year, once as early as January, that look, there's going to be flooding in so number of states. We are never prepared. That is the issue. Whether it's NEMA or NIMET, yes, it's not lack of intelligence. It's not lack of information. It's the lack of political will to deal with the problem.
Yes. 12 members of one family, 50 are Malgeri. That's what has been reported at
Nigeria happened to them.
Nigeria happened to them. May their souls rest in peace. We will follow up on this story. But in the meantime, the West African Examinations Council has attributed the significant delays that led to some candidates writing the English language paper of the 2025 Senior School Certificate Examination late into the night to its efforts at preventing examination malpractice. Well, according to Waec, their primary objective was to prevent the leakage of question papers and maintain the integrity of the examination. However, their efforts inadvertently caused logistical setbacks, security concerns, and social-cultural factors that impacted the timely and seamless conduct of the paper. The head of Waec's Nigeria National Office revealed in a televised interview on Thursday that the change was made after the council received intelligence that Wednesday's papers was about to be compromised. Vimbai, I mean, this story, they're apologizing, saying that they got intelligence, and so that is the reason why they let our children write papers at night. There's also a picture, if we can pull up that picture, on Wednesday in Taraba State, where the actual exam hall collapsed with people. There it is. That's the picture in Taraba State where the exam hall collapsed. This is completely unacceptable. I do not buy this, narrative that they are trying to make sure that there's not exam malpractice and then subject our students, our children, to write late at night. What if they didn't have their parents there? What if some of those students will have to go home late at night? At this time, it's unfortunate, really. With the insecurity. I was about to say that, but I could not believe that that was the excuse that Waec gave.
Very, very pitiful excuse.
Yes.
When I saw that they had responded and they wanted to say something, I went through it looking for something something tangible, something real. Nothing in the world excuses what happened to these poor students. And an apology is not enough. It was yesterday that I said the best form of apology is change behavior. Yes. So what needs to happen here is that there needs to be a re-examination that is set for these students at a realistic time and location so that they can attempt to, at least they've worked hard, they've studied. So it needs to translate into results for them. And the system needs to not fail them when they're at their most vulnerable. Yesterday we made the point that these are young people who are just trying to make something of themselves, trying to begin the journey to their future, and then you sabotage them. We can't sabotage our young people like this. So, I'm waiting for the statement where they say that the exam has been rescheduled and when it will be reset, and also not that it will just be rescheduled, because, with the Waec, with the UTME exams, some students were unable to resit because they didn't even have transport to get back to the exam examination venue. So there also needs to be logistical support to ensure that all the students will be able to get back to the examination venue, because this is not their fault. So the burden of trying to correct this wrong shouldn't fall on these students and their families. The organization is responsible for ensuring that they get to the exam venue, that the conditions are conducive to being able to do their best and prove that they really did. I mean, look at this. I say exam malpractice. They're sitting on top of each other for crying out loud.
How can they not do exam malpractice in the dark with touchlight? And we also saw candle lights. I don't know if you saw those videos of our children writing with candle lights.
Perhaps they are trying to.
Yeah.
When back in the days, Waec that I know, you will space people. Look at how they are clustered around each other, even looking at the other person.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
I just see. Look at that one. See.
Unbelievable.
See,
Those two look like they were writing in the same book.
see exam practice already on TV.
Well,
see that one
this
looking.
is it now.
She wear.
Come on, it's inexcusable, really.
Nigeria.
Very quickly. From writing exams at midnight, which I said already raises questions about the integrity of that English language paper. I hope they will cancel that exam that was written this week and reschedule the English language paper exams. And then secondly, apology is not enough. The persons responsible for this should be sanctioned, even if it includes the removal of the head of Waec, Nigeria. This kind of situation is totally unacceptable. And the Ministry of Education has issued a statement to that effect. The Ministry of Education of Nigeria should follow up in that regard.
Well said, Dr.
Number two, the school that collapsed in Taraba. Who is the contractor? Who is the funny roadside engineer who built that particular structure? I think that contractor should be identified and should be sanctioned. The main point here is that we have been talking about the Safe School Initiative. The Safe School Initiative is not just about perimeter fencing to keep out bandits and kidnappers. How can students be writing an exam and the building will collapse? Look, they make this country look like a joke to outsiders.
Is it not?
No, they make it look like. I'm not saying it's a joke.
Is the joke not on them? It's not on all of us. Are we not a joke to outsiders already? You didn't collapse while you are writing.
So the embarrassment is written large, and I think that there should be investigation, and that contractor who built that structure. You will be surprised. That structure may not be up to 1 year old, even if it is 5 years old.
Right.
The persons responsible for that should be sanctioned. But the good news is that we have not heard that there were casualties among the children.
Yes, that's the good news. Well, in Anambra State, and this is, talking about the Safe School Initiative, the government has cleared the streets of child beggars in the state capital, Awka. The children will be reintegrated into schools, with the government footing the bill. In a statement, the Awka Capital Territory Development Authority said the move marks a zero-tolerance stance on street kids in the capital. The agency also warned residents to stop bringing food and gifts to areas where the children used to gather. Those exploiting minors as street hawkers have also been cautioned, with the government vowing to enforce the law against offenders. Please, I thought it was important to highlight the state to also encourage other state governors to emulate Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo. I mean, this is such a great initiative. If the state is going ahead to say this is what we want to do in this certain area, we also encourage, our philanthropists like our Rufai, very own Rufai, to also do the same. Yeah. How many out-of-school children do we have now? Accordingly, they said over 15 million at this point. 15 million, yes. So over 15 million at this. I think this is such a great initiative. A quick comment on that, and then we'll move to our next story.
I think you said it all, because especially because this is not just prevalent in Anambra State. We have a nationwide problem, especially in the north of the country.
Yes.
And if we can find sustainable solutions to educate, to house, to feed, will go a long way. Will go a long way, especially with regards to eradicating insecurity, eradicating poverty. So this is a very positive move. And like you said, I hope this is something that we can copy and paste in the various states.
Well, all right.
Let's be specific.
Yes.
We commend Professor
Charles
Chukwuma Soludo for saying that, these children should be off the streets. Over 50 million children, according to UNICEF, are out of school in Nigeria. Now, Anambra State has some of the most entrepreneurial, most educated persons in Nigeria. Most of those children, they are not probably Igbos. Igbos don't beg. The Igbos are a very hardworking group. The people that are responsible for these out-of-school children are mainly the northern states. I've made a point on this table repeatedly that northern leaders have been discussing education of their children since 1959 when they held the first conference. And so the people who should emulate what Governor Soludo is trying to do to make sure that these children go to school and they are not on the streets are the leaders of the North. To make sure that these children who are talented otherwise, who are brilliant, if you have met people from the North who go to school, they are very brilliant people. I know many of them who are exceptional, geniuses, but it's the leadership that is the problem. So this is a message for other leaders of Nigeria to make sure that we have to invest in children. And this is the month of May. May 27, we celebrated Children's Day.
Yes.
So Governor Soludo's message is in fitting with the May 27 Children's Day theme. And he says people who are going to give them food should no longer do so. But the overall objective is making sure that Nigerian children, their potentials are properly harnessed.
Well said, Dr. Abati. Again, kudos, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo. Other kudos goes to the Nigerian Immigration Service. They have arrested one Obi Levi Obieze, a popular herbalist in Enugu, over alleged involvement in abduction, kidnapping, and ritual killings. Obieze, also known as Levi Ogbu Onyeka, fled after vigilantes and security operatives discovered corpses in a pit at an uncompleted building reportedly used as a shrine. The search began after a 13-year-old girl went missing in the community. We saw this story, my heart broke when I saw that pregnant woman in the pit. I mean, and this just goes to show that this issue of, is it this herbalist, this ritual killings, people trying to make money from killings? Remember we talked about this when even Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo said he was going to ban the practice of, is it native doctors or herbalists? This is the reason, and here, that's the picture of the guy. I am glad that he is being caught. Ritual killing stands condemned, and we are very proud of the Nigerian Immigration Service for swinging into action and getting this man, Rufai.
I mean, so yes, very good by Immigration Service.
Yes.
But with due respect, this man is a ritualist.
He's a ritualist,
not a herbalist. Yes. And I have very great respect for herbalists. What do? They take herbs, some of them passed on from generation to be able to help humanity. And you know why I kicked against Governor Soludo then was that my professor in Professor Oluwalano, is one of the biggest repository of and documenter of herbs or documentation of herbs in all over Africa. In fact, he teaches other herbalists about herbs. And it's a very noble profession to be able to help humanity.
Yes.
So I think we need to make that different or separate that from a ritualist that should be condemned. Anybody, I must say, that tells you to go and bring head or skull or part of human being to make money is a liar. The question is, all the billionaires in the world, the antidote to poverty was using their brain to solve problem. How do you make wealth? You make wealth by providing a slow solution to a problem, and you scale the solution and it brings abundance. The antidote to poverty is hard work. We have a saying, Iṣẹ́ ni oògùn ìṣẹ́, múra síṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi. bàbá rẹ̀ lè lówó lọ́wọ́ ìyá rẹ̀ lè lẹ́sìn lẹ́ẹ̀kan bá gbójú lọ́wọ́ òtẹ́tọ̀ rẹ̀ mi. Iṣẹ́ lògùn ìṣẹ́. The antidote to poverty is hard work. So anybody that says you go and bring any human parts is a liar. This man should be dealt with.
Yes.
Because he also committed murder.
Murder. We saw the pictures.
So
in
once
his
that's
home,
been proven in court, he should be dealt with. Let the court take its full, wrath of the law. But herbalists are different. They are making society better. These things have been passed on to them. What we can also call for is proper documentation.
And that's what you...
And they should go under, NAFDAC and get proper documentation. And these traditional things should also be supported. But this man, no, this is wrong. This is wrong.
All right.
Well,
Shall we now?
are licensed.
Yes.
They have certificates.
Yes.
Ritual killers are not licensed.
They are
Yes.
murderers.
Murderers are
Absolutely.
criminals.
Kudos to the Nigerian Immigration Service on this one. Let's take the story now under politics. As Nigeria gears up to mark 26 years of democracy, former head of state Yakubu Gowon has implored West African leaders to remain committed to democracy. Gowon spoke on Wednesday during the 50th anniversary celebration of the Economic Community of West African States in Lagos. Gowon, who played a key role in the founding of ECOWAS in 1975, stated that the region continues to face serious challenges from insecurity and political instability to youth unemployment and economic shocks. Let's take a look.
Our region still grapples, again I say, we grapple with all these daunting challenges, and especially insecurity and political instability. And in recent years, we have witnessed the troubling resurgence of military coups in some of our member states. We thought that was over, but it seems as though personal ambition drives some people to do the wrong thing. But let me say this, belief in democracy is what I'm now advising all members of ECOWAS in the countries. We must not let these setbacks define us. Rather, let them awaken us to the urgent need to recommit to the core principles of good governance: economic cooperation, solidarity, and inclusivity.
Former head of state there, General Yakubu Gowon, he also said that the situation should serve as a wake-up call to recommit to principles of good governance, economic cooperation, solidarity, and inclusivity. Behind the scenes here, we were just celebrating him because, he's there speaking strong at 90. Dr. Abati.
Okay, General Dr. Yakubu Gowon was head of state of Nigeria 1966, right, to 1975, July 1975. So it was under his watch that ECOWAS was created on May 28, 1975, under what was called the Treaty of Lagos. So he hosted the initial 15 founding fathers of ECOWAS. Another country joined 2 years later in 1977. So he's the only living founding father of ECOWAS, and he has remained very loyal to the ideals of ECOWAS. The thing to stress, number one, is that his optimism is commendable. His optimism in the regard that he continues to defend the founding ideals of ECOWAS, which is about economic cooperation, integration, inclusivity, which was the word you used. And in January 29, around thereabout, 2025, when the alliance of Sahel states said they were not coming back to ECOWAS, it was the voice of reason of General Gowon that rang true, saying that, look, he thinks that, these countries should not go away. And on the basis of that, ECOWAS said, we're giving you an extension to July 2025. And when he spoke on the occasion of the 50th anniversary, he sustained that optimism. He said that he believes that those countries, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, will still come back to ECOWAS. And I think that, this is what we should just stress. ECOWAS, according to him, has faced challenges, and that is true. But he believes that the ideals of ECOWAS will endure.
Yes.
At his age, he remains a statesman, not just for Nigeria, but also for the sub-region.
Yes.
And we commend his voice of reason, his continuing leadership and commitment.
Absolutely. And also like to, what did you say?
He's a Pan-Africanist.
He's a Pan-Africanist, yes. Also like to congratulate Nigeria for 26 years of unbroken democracy at this point. Shall we take our story under entertainment now? Controversial singer Speed Darlington's admittance to having sex with a 15-year-old girl has caught the attention of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. The agency has invited the musician for questioning. NAPTIP stated that their invitation is not only based on the recent video, but also on other archived videos circulating online where he allegedly made similar admissions, degrading commentary about minors. The agency emphasized that if his statements are true, they constitute offenses under the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Enforcement Act of 2015 and the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention Act of 2015. Meanwhile, the musician has apologized for his comment on the minor, claiming that the confession was fabricated as part of a publicity stunt to promote his latest song, saying that he needs controversy to eat. He, however, attacked those condemning his content, saying that if he had known using a 15-year-old girl could cause a controversy, he would have said he slept with a 12-year-old. Instead, let's take a look.
15 self, if I know say 15 go bring me this attention, I for say na 12. Make una head catch fire. Now because say I dey south now, the same conversation that I was just having with my lawyer. Now because say we are in southern Nigeria, would you come at me like this if we were in Sokoto? Now, you would never disrespect me like this. Mr. Advocate VDM, go north now. Go north where 70-year-old they marry 11 years old. Mr. Activism. Go north. No. Chebi, you carry him for head. Go north. Where 70-year-old men, they marry 11. I saw one, 2021. 12. Hey, a child married to 50-something years old.
Rufai, this is unbelievable. You know, when I saw the apology, I was like, oh, wow. But, I mean, he apologized, but it's still wrong, absolutely wrong what he said. And then you hear this.
Oji, see, when people do not have cognition to understand the fault, no matter how you explain it to them, it's going to be an exercise in futility. Clearly, Speed Darlington does not know the gravity of what he has done.
Clearly.
He thinks everything is for clout because of music. So no matter how much we explain it to him, he doesn't understand how some girls have been destroyed because of this same act he's now claiming is a lie. So he's still coming back to justify it by talking about go to the north. He's not sensible at all. And I think it should be taken up and investigated.
Yes, NAPTIP has called.
He doesn't have people that are telling him the truth. He thinks it's to trend.
He said it
Till today, the music is not the subject. It's his stupidity that is the subject matter.
He's a content maker now,
so
like content
it's
creator.
The stupidity that is the content
that he's using to trend.
So he doesn't know what he's saying.
Dr. Abati.
Okay. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Ignorantia non justitia excusat. That's what the law says. So you cannot say he's ignorant of the law. He committed the offense in the southern part of the country. The place where you committed the crime is very important. So you cannot say, oh, if he had done it in the north, under the penal code, he will not, nobody will question him. He could have even said 12-year-old girl. He's trying to politicize the matter in that regard, saying, oh, in the North, after all, people marry 9-year-olds. But he used his mouth to confess that he had unlawful carnal knowledge of a female Homo sapien. That in itself is a crime.
Yes.
Now, what does the law say? The NAPTIP to which the matter was referred, because they could not establish that the matter was incidented in Lagos State. Lagos State Domestic Violence Agency referred it to NAPTIP. NAPTIP invited him this morning to show up. I hope he will show up. Otherwise, they should declare him wanted.
Yes.
They should get a court order to declare him a wanted person. Now, when he gets there, they say they are going to charge him under the Cybercrime Act and also under the Trafficking Prohibition and Prevention of Persons Act. He should go to NAPTIP and go and answer questions. Yeah. And I said it, that he confessed with his mouth. Sections 28, 29, 31 of the Evidence Act 2011 will seem to refer. Nobody forced him. He used his own mouth.
He used his mouth
to say that he had unlawful carnal knowledge of a female Homo sapien. Now, he has confessed. And under the Evidence Act, when you confess with your mouth, you have convicted yourself.
Right.
So, and I don't want to hear that his mother will come out, he's my son, please help him, because in Nigeria we're very emotional.
No, but it's not true. She did the same thing during Burna Boy. Yes, during Burna Boy.
His mother should not come and say his son. People should bring up their children properly. This is also about parenting and motherhood. Well, your child cannot go and talk nonsense, and you say you are begging. Begging who?
We were all here begging for him when Burna Boy took him to jail for, defamation. And now we're seeing him. He really is relentless. But NAPTIP has said failure to comply will lead to further legal actions. So we'll follow up on the story. We'll take our final story now. Highlighting our milestone story today, we'd like to congratulate Sidi Ota, who has been elected as the 9th president of the African Development Bank. Sidi Ota was born in Mededra, Mauritania in 1964 and holds a doctorate in economics. He has undergone executive training at Harvard and the London Business School. He was a former finance minister in Mauritania and the Director General of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, where he quadrupled its balance sheet and secured a AAA rating. TA's campaign focused on mobilizing private capital, formalizing the informal sector, boosting infrastructure, and driving stronger climate action. He takes over from Nigeria's Akinwumi Adesina, whose 10-year tenure ends this year. Here's the moment his election was confirmed.
Where is it? 70%.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Alhamdulillah.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Wow.
That was a beautiful moment. We all congratulate him. Well, he assumes office September 1st. That was in Abidjan. I believe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated the president of Mauritania, as well as saying that he's committed to fostering Sidi Ota in his new position. Congratulations to him. And of course, congratulations to our very own Akinwumi Adesina. But I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. You all have a great weekend.